Hey, Willie, what's up? How you doing? Back at it. It's like, I do have projects, like personal projects that I feel like I should probably work on, but at the same time, I just kind of feel like doing some fun watercolory stuff, so I don't really feel like doing those other things. How's it going, Jim? Hey guys, let me know if the sound is okay, if the music is too loud or too quiet. Seems like it might be a little loud, maybe. Let's turn it down just a little. Still want you guys to be able to hear me, like if the music is playing. Hey, I'm age one. I'm age one. Thanks for the follow. Right? Reading handles sometimes is like reading another language. Playing with one of the cyber elves. Well, I was originally calling IY for Indian Yellow, but I kind of want to either call her Indy or India. Except that I have to make sure that Indian Yellow actually is derived from India and not some kind of a Native American thing before I call her India. I could still call her India, but whatever. I knew a little white girl growing up whose name was India, so, you know, can't be any worse than that, right? Oh, right on. Yeah. I'm glad you did. Also, let's do this. That's my link tree. All the stuff is there, including like just got the Discord going. It's very empty. Oh, cool. Good to know. I figured it was because it's too close to a turmeric color not to be from India. So, the dreaded hands. Yes, you may. Really quick, I did just get the Discord going. It's super empty right now, but please don't let the emptiness dissuade you. Join the Discord, post away. We'll get it populated soon enough, right? Yeah, ask me about hands. I can always pull up a scrap sheet of paper if we need any drawing demos done, right? Yeah. The worst when I get a stray lint hair or cat hair or something. Especially when I'm doing like really fine details. Those things just stand out way too much. I'm just like kind of referencing a little bit of her design on a previous sketch, so that's why I'm looking over. Make sure I don't... I mean, whatever, it doesn't matter. This isn't like any kind of a final sketch of anything, so... Cool. Wait. Yeah, Willie, just put it up in the general art talk, and we can get it going. And I do want to get some watercolors going, so I'm using a waterproof ink right now, just in case I feel like coloring this one, which I probably will, because why not, right? I said I was gonna do watercolor, I'm gonna do some watercolor. It's like based on a previous drawing I did of her, but the other one is not in waterproof ink. I mean, I intentionally had done it in non-waterproof ink because I wanted to use water on that ink, smear it around, but this, I just want to, I don't know, play with some color and stuff. So... So my playlist is kind of reflecting this like cyberpunk, cyber elf vibe. Ah, okay. Alright, so what, No, this is not the sketchbook I made. The sketchbook I made was actually with mid-tone paper, and this is not. This is actually the Etcher Labs hot press watercolor sketchbook. Though I am gonna make my own hot press watercolor book because I love hot press watercolor paper. So Willie, what's your question with this? By the way, Sarah, welcome. Thank you for joining. Okay. So, in order, Willie, if you want to, I don't know if you have like a picture or something of if you've tried sketching them already. Maybe put that in the general art talk channel, just so I can see, because it's hard to know what you might not be doing right. Meaning just as like a totally general thing. Because a lot of that, it's subtle, but it is gonna be in some of the shapes and the angles. But if you have a rough sketch or something that you can put in the general art channel, then I can look at that and I can give you like more specific feedback. Yeah, Sarah, I love hot press watercolor paper. I don't mind cold press if I'm gonna work larger, but just the way that I like to work usually gets, I think, a little too detailed for. Although, I mean, that's not true. I've seen people do insanely detailed shit on cold press, so it's just a preference, right? But I do like the paper that the Etcher books use. It's actually, it almost feels somewhere between hot press and cold press. Like it has a bit more texture on it than most hot press papers I'm used to. But it's still pretty nice. And it's beautifully bound, right? Oops, shake the camera around. Right, it has this like canvas cover and stuff, and it lays flat when it's open, which is awesome. So I can't really complain. Okay. I don't know, Willie. I feel like they feel clenched. I don't really have an issue with what you've done. Let's just compare it, though. to see. Yeah, I feel like they feel pretty clenched. I mean, one thing you could potentially do if you wanted to, but it, I don't think you like totally like need it. Sorry, I'm looking for my pencil here. Is one of the things that we can do as artists. Let's get a little closer here. Is just exaggerate, right? So if we have a hand here, well, let's use that one as reference, right? As a way that we can push it. Let's stick to the reference. How about that? So you can exaggerate that kind of what our fists will tend to do is when they're, get a better angle, when they're relaxed, right? They'll tend to be more horizontal. When we really clench, you get that slight kind of angling of the fingers when they're really clenched. Like relaxed, you get that kind of box shape. Clenched, you start to get this curve in the hand, and this sort of angling here, right? And a sort of like roll away effect in a way. I keep like just going like deviating from the reference. but that angling can really help, right? To make something feel more clenched. But part of the issue that you're gonna run into is that some of the cues that we use to show a very clenched fist are being covered up by his wraps, right? So like you can't totally exaggerate the knuckles and all that stuff because he's got those heavy wraps on his hand. So, I think there's an aspect of that could present a challenge, but I feel like you've done a good job. So, yeah, I mean, you don't want to be, too hard on yourself with it. I really don't have issues with. Let's straighten that out a little. I don't have issues with what you've done there, so. And I don't know if you're planning on like painting it up or not, but sometimes that can help as well. Meaning that'll give you some leeway to kind of push some of those shapes, and not just in the line work, but getting the values in there. Cool. I guess chat freestyling works. You know, we can do that. And it works because a bunch of the music I chose is just all like hip hop beats. So, you know, I'm not opposed to it. Don't actually want I would, so Willie, the only thing I would say about that is I would make his hands bigger because his hands are looking small in the drawing. So that could have something to do with it. I would definitely just scale up his hands, like make them almost 25% bigger. So, oh yeah, there, Jim said it. Jim's on it. I don't even need to talk. Switch pens here real quick. I kind of just wanted to get some stuff on the page, although, damn, I really should have thought this through, because it's my one issue with like these landscape books, that I really wish that Etcher offered a portrait binding, because when you open up the landscapes, they're so wide, and my watercolor palette is over off to my left and the book covers it, so I'll have to figure that out, or I will move on to a different thing, maybe come back to this one, or I could put the palette right there. I could do that. I also wanted you guys to be able to see the palette, so that I'm not just mysteriously mixing colors. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I kind of want to do an actual piece. Which I think I want. Hey, Chakori. Wait, Chet. I forget, how do I pronounce that again? Shakuri? Chakuri? I know it says it on your page. But my evening's going well, I have to say. I cannot really complain. Just sort of doing essentially some little warm-ups. And then I'll probably do something that I will actually color. Paint up. Well, how long was your supposed nap? I'm really good at power napping, by the way. Like, lay down for like 10 minutes, sleep for like 5 of that, and then I'm like ready to go. Oh yeah, no problem, dude. It wasn't that good of a sketch, but maybe it demonstrates a point. Let's see if it'll... Come on, there we go. Screenshot that shit. Yeah, that's not a nap. That's like more than half a night's sleep. But that's okay. Hey, maybe you needed it, right? I mean, that's always the justification. People always tell me that when I'm like, oh, I just wasn't as productive as I wanted to be yesterday. And they're like, yeah, but maybe your body just needed some downtime. I'm like, that's nice. I didn't want the downtime. I wanted to be productive. So screw the downtime. I'll have downtime when I want downtime. Right? Actually, I think I want that leg, that knee higher. I like these, like, just aerial jumping poses. They're just kind of fun. Especially when you have characters that are all like cybernetic and shit. You can get away with them doing crazy stuff, right? This is a fountain pen, because basically, like, I love my steel nibs, right? But it's really annoying to travel with these things, because then you got to bring like ink and all that stuff, and then if you're out somewhere, you're just really paranoid that someone's gonna like knock the table or something, and then your ink is just gonna go everywhere, and that would just be a disaster. So I was looking everywhere for like an actual fountain pen with cartridges that had like some nice flex to the nib, and I found the Pilot. This one specifically was the Pilot Elabo, which is basically just a variation on the Pilot Namiki, right? The Pilot Namiki, or which is a Pilot Falcon nib, right? And so it actually has some flex to it. Then further research led me to John Madasha, who runs nibs.com. Mind you, you'll see some of the most expensive fucking fountain pens you've ever seen in your life there. But there are some, specifically the Pilot Falcon nibs, which are the ones I care about, that he will modify for you to add more flex. So it was already somewhat flexible, but after his, I got the Spencerian modification, which is like for advanced users because it grinds it down to an extra fine, has a lot of flex, but you don't want to spring this nib, because this pen with the custom modification on it is going to run you about $260. So if you spring this nib, you're probably going to cry a little bit. Granted, then you would only have to replace the nib, which would be like $160, but still. So you don't want to do like the advanced modification unless you are comfortable with the steel nib. But I mean, the flex on this thing is like, get in there, get in there. You know, just to get the line variation is just so awesome. Again, advanced nib users only, please. I don't want someone being like, but you said to get the thing, and now I just wasted all this money, and blah, blah, blah. Not my chair, not my problem. But yeah, absolutely love this pen. Makes me very happy. For me, you know, like, I don't... Yeah, with something like a pen, a sketchbook, I mean, not as much with a sketchbook. I want really nice paper with a sketchbook, but with something like this, I don't mind dropping money on it because, one, it makes me want to use it. So anything that makes me want to draw more is a good thing. Two, as long as you take care of this pen, it will literally last you your entire life. Like, you could turn it into an heirloom as long as, you know, one of your heirs isn't lame and doesn't spring the nib. But it is meant to last your entire life. So in that regard, I don't mind spending money on it. It's worth it, and it is so fun to use. Makes me stupid happy. And then this is where you guys will probably think I'm fucking crazy. because I have a different one. That is also a modified nib, but a different kind of nib. So we'll look at these. I'm sure this won't be the last time that we do this. We compare our nibs, right? We've got the Pilot Namiki here, and then we have the Pilot Custom 912. They're both a Falcon nib, just different variations. This one is scratchier, and I love that. Some people don't like the scratch. I do. This one runs a lot smoother. It doesn't get as fine of lines, but it can get heavier lines. So, but I tend to also keep different inks in them. This one that I used is waterproof. This one is not. So big difference right there. And I like to have the options. But this one also gets really nice variety of line weight. But I like to mix the two pens sometimes because I want to bring some water in and just like play with some values, right? But I mean, these are really fun, and you can get a really nice, like, I don't know if we'll be able to get it on this or not. You know, you can get some really cool kinds of marks depending on how fast you use it. You can still get very fine lines. If you turn it over, you can get even finer lines. You can't use this one flat on the back of the nib. This one you can, and I'll show you what I mean. So the variety of marks on this guy, you know, you can also get some of those marks, but then this one can just get super fine, and then I can turn it over and just get some really nice mark variety. So I'm just a super sucker for mark making. Shit makes me happy. So any tool that I can use that gives me a variety of marks to choose from, I'm down for that. I am down. Yeah, I mean, there's like, I mean, there are pens on there that are thousands of dollars. I'm just like, jeez. And what's crazy is that some of those, they don't even have a flexible nib. So, I mean, but they'll be like handmade. They'll have like hand inlaid filigree or crazy mosaic tiles, and the tiles will be handmade, and so they're really beautiful, beautiful pens. Mostly Japanese pens, because the Japanese are awesome like that. But yeah, some of them I'm just like, why an $8,000 pen? Holy crap! You know. Be like, tell you what, the first time I sign $1 million contract, I'm gonna buy that pen first just to sign it. Just to sign $1 million contract. Here's my $8,000 pen. Oh my god. No, I wouldn't do that. Don't worry. I'm not, Willie. I'm not really. I don't quite have the time, I think, to take on a student. Most of my free time is spent trying to develop some of my projects outside of work, and work tends to be 8 to 10 hours a day. So my spare time right now is very limited, but I'm not super opposed to like considering the idea a little later down the line. And of course I didn't fill my water thing, so but hey, luckily I have a water brush. A water brush pen. So that'll be fine. That'll do what we need. The only thing I don't like about these water brush pens is that you don't have as much control over the water, right? Like, they're fine for loose stuff, I think, but if you want to do anything that's more precise, these are not the way to go. So... So you can see why I would mix the waterproof ink with the water-soluble ink, right? Because that shit's fun. Man, I'm trying to think of what the best way to... I really wanted you guys to be able to see the watercolor palette. Maybe I'll just have to move it over to the right here. Hang on, we're gonna shuffle some things around. BRB. I also just had to get some water. For the watercolor. So let's move some shit. Bring these girls up. Yeah, I still don't know how much we'll be able to see my palette here. Okay. I had it all planned out and set up to be on the left. Oh well. Let's see. It's still gonna be a little tricky, huh? Still gonna be a little tricky, but I think we can kind of do this. We can get this in there a little bit. Maybe. Sort of. Kinda, sorta. Maybe better than nothing. Right? Maybe. Initially I was like, oh, I'll work on it vertically, and then I started working without thinking. Yeah, that I'd have to, if I wanted to shift that stuff around, I'd have to do a whole lot more than a 2-minute shift. But I mean, whatever. I don't need anything crazy here. Just make room. So I'm just gonna use Winsor Newton Series 7 number 2. I'm a sabled brush fan. I also love the Chinese watercolor brushes, by the way. The amount of control you have with these is pretty insane. Just depends on if I want a sipper brush or not. Yeah, well, yeah, for the future I'll have to decide ahead of time and stick to it, whether I work vertically or horizontally, because that's really what did it. I was going to work vertically before, and I wasn't thinking. And, oh well. Oh well. I don't often clean my palette unless it's like really, really dirty. But I like to kind of use some of the colors that are there sometimes and then just like shift them around a little bit. Because usually like they're pretty good. Let's get our light over on the palette so I can actually see what the hell I'm doing. How about that? It's a novel idea, right? The only thing will be this, because this is gouache, but I do kind of want... What kind of colors am I usually drawn to? You know, most of that depends largely on the concept, I guess. And like... For her, she's actually gonna have some fairly hot colors mixed with some subdued ones. So I have these 3 elf girls, right? That are like cyber elves, basically. That I was sort of playing around with designing. Let's see if I think I've got them. Do I have them somewhere here? Yeah. So, and I'd done a print for my Kickstarter campaign. That was a Kickstarter exclusive, right? So we've got Quinn, India, and Manga. And they're all 3 named after like 3 of my favorite colors on my oil painting palette. So Quinn is for quinacridone magenta, India is for Indian yellow, and then Manga is for manganese blue. And so each one kind of keys off of those colors in some way. Here this is kind of before I came up with their names. So she ended up with dark hair. Her hair should be Indian yellow, actually. And then her jacket, but then they each have aspects of the other one's colors too. But yeah, so that was the idea. So in her case, I mean, we're gonna go Indian yellow, but I actually want it just a little deeper, like more like the oil Indian yellow, and not so much because the watercolor one it's a little different color, but and I mean, a lot of this was also just because I missed using watercolor. So I'm like, you know what? want to do some watercolor again. Figured, why not? Why not? Yeah, you know, it had started because I'd sort of, with Quinn, she was the first one that I had really kind of like started designing in any kind of way. And I had initially just called her Magenta because I'd given her magenta hair, and I was like, oh, I like that color, Magenta. And then I designed all three, and so I called them the Magentas. But then I was like, no, I kind of like her being more of that, like, that name, you know, being more specific to her. So I was like, all right, well, what can I call the others? And yeah, so I started thinking like, oh, that'd be cool to name them after very specific colors. Which then turned into me shortening the names as like nicknames. I was like, okay, I like that. I'm okay with that. But speaking of magenta, hang on. This, I don't actually have magenta watercolor, but I do have magenta gouache, but you gotta be careful. They call it rose, Holbein rose gouache, but man, this stuff is like hot. So best to mix it with something, or you're just gonna get almost like a neon magenta, which is kind of cool. I mean, it could fit in a way, right? But I am gonna knock it down a little bit, I think, with a little bit of alizarin crimson, just to take some of the heat out. I don't want it to be too overpowering, and it's usually a good idea. Yeah, usually a good idea to test these things. By the way, I am not a renderer. When it comes to watercolor, I don't like rendering in watercolor at all. I love it when I see other people do it, and when I see them do it, I'm like, oh, you know what? I should try that again. And I try it, I'm like, dude, this isn't fun. I don't enjoy this. So I've stopped trying. I'm not, like, it's just not how I like to use watercolor. I like using it much more direct. I will play with edges, you know, getting some hard and soft edges, which is really all rendering is, but I don't like to... You have to plan out a lot more if you're going to render stuff, I think. Or just have that, like, have a certain methodology that works that way. And it's not my methodology. I am wanting a little bit of heat in there now, I think. There's something like with a more direct approach. I like the kind of impressionistic quality that you get with it. I think that's a little more my jam. Sorry, I totally was not paying attention to the chat. I do that sometimes. I get to... Yeah. Yeah, 26 colors for a mixing chart would that would take some time. You know, but then like I look at people like what's her A. Becker Black. I forget what her first name is. She just goes on Instagram. Her handle is A. Becker Black. She does beautiful watercolors, and some of those things get insanely rendered. Ali Kavanaugh does amazing watercolors, really rendered, but then she gets these beautiful watermarks on them too, and I'm just like, dude, girls are crazy. So good. Hang on, I actually want to come in. I want to flatten this out here, just because I actually want to do a little bit of watermarks on them, and if it's too tilted, then it's not good. Not good. Not good. Kind of want some of that. Let's bleed some. I mean, unless you want it to run down and then, of course, tilt it, but that's not what I want. Just want some organic edges, is all. Something to play with. If anyone was wondering what manganese blue is, you're looking at it. Alright. Actually, maybe we will run this a little bit. Trying to remember. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. Because I liked the colors that I had set up for them. Right. that's our girl. Right here. Although in my head, they can actually like kind of swap out their colors a bit. Oh, you guys can't even see it. Ha! Like, if this is all cybernetic stuff, and I imagine that they can either swap out the plates or the coloring could be some kind of nanotech or who knows what. But I like what I have with her, whereas more about kind of some hits of yellow. I don't want her to be completely like Indian yellow. Because I feel like that just gets too busy, but I also kind of it changed colors on me, didn't it? Thank you. That was a super fun piece. Here we can look at the whole thing. So we've got Quinn here, right? Quinacridone magenta, India, her Indian yellow, and then Manga, her manganese blue. Definitely a lot of fun. And then each of them has aspects of the other one's colors, right? So they all have the magenta and the Indian blue, and manganese blue and the Indian yellow. So, yeah. Super fun piece. So that's where Shakuri, you asked what kind of colors I'm drawn to, and oftentimes, like if I'm doing something that's more like, say, in a natural setting, I actually prefer more muted colors. But something where I can go sci-fi, and it's just like, it is fun sometimes to play with something that is a bit more robust. Partly because I can, right? If you think about the limitations of some of the colors that they could get in, say, the medieval times, right? Obviously they couldn't, I don't think they could get quinacridone magenta. I could be wrong though. I'd have to research that. It's not like they didn't have saturated colors. They did. I think they just didn't have quite as many options. And then getting materials saturated was also another thing. Like some of the stuff they would not have put into clothing or something like that. They certainly didn't have any cybernetic nano plates, whatever they are. Or like graphene nanoweave windbreakers, or whatever the hell it is. Damn, no, I want more heat in that windbreaker though. Damn, we might just have to use our magenta. Let's see. It's a little tricky sometimes because gouache is opaque, so I don't want to. It's that balance. I got to water it down enough so that the lines show through, but not so much that we lose the saturation. But I like a little bit more of that heat in there to balance that yellow. And again, I'm not trying to do anything like finished. This is just a sketch. There's no need to fret over it too much. Right. cat is doing her nightly crazy time session. But cats are so sensitive, so I'll hear her doing who knows what in the bedroom. And I'll like try and creep over there to see what she's doing. And then I look inside and she's just like sitting in the middle of the floor staring at me. I'm like, let's see, how old is she? She is 7 this year. Crazy. Where does the time go, right? She's 7? Yeah. Wow. Little black and white tuxedo. Named Denna, because I'm a fan of the name of the wind. And when she was a kitten, she kind of reminded me of Quote's first description of Denna. How he talks about how you have to like even just like talking about her, you have to like approach the subject like a wild animal and slowly circle around and creep up on it. Because she was a rescue, right? My friend found her like on the streets when she was like 5 weeks old. So then I took her in, and she was fine once I held her. But even if I just barely reached for her, she would like hiss at me. She thought she was bigger than she was. I'm just trying to get somewhat of a shadow, a little bit of a shadow color, just a hint at some kind of lighting scenario. Nothing too crazy though. Almost treating it like a multiply layer, right? Just using a single shadow color to sort of go over all of it. There's something in this pose I like, but I would need to refine it. So we might switch books really quick and work on something like that, but not let that dry before I close that book, huh? Started messing with it, but it needs more refinement. Yeah, I mean, she was so tiny that it's like her hissing was just kind of comical. So maybe something that we can actually erase and refine would be good. By the way, this is, I think I'd shown this on the last stream as well. It's just a lead holder from inkslingerpens.com. Dan over there is awesome. He makes really amazing stuff. He's the one that made me this nib holder, right? A custom koa wood. because most of them are fatter, and I like it to feel like a paintbrush or a pencil, so I like it a bit thinner. So he made me one that is much slimmer out of this beautiful curly koa wood. Yeah, that is a very nice piece. And then also this clutch, right? A lead clutch. I think it'll do 3mm lead out of a walnut burl, which is rad. But then it'll also do the little quill, the crow quill nibs, right? It works for these too, so that's kind of awesome. Hey, thanks, Shikori. Yeah, the portrait sketches are fun. I was actually considering just doing... Maybe we'll do that, because I'm not quite, like, figuring out what I want to do with a India piece right now. So maybe we'll just do some little brush pen portraits, and then we can throw some color on those. That would be fun. Let's do that. That sounds fun and relaxing. But let's bring back our watercolor paper. This time we're gonna use it right. All right, so if we're gonna use it right, then I'm gonna switch it back to the left side because I don't like having the water and stuff near my active side. It just always feels like an accident waiting to happen, like a really bad accident waiting to happen. So we're gonna set this up the way I always intended. Right? Just bear with me. Look at that. Look how nicely that's gonna just work out. By the way, I always love the look of the paper towels after watercolor. I just find them very fun, very pleasant. Water. And a paper towel here. And then we can actually see a little bit of everything. In case anyone is interested, I don't know if you are, but the colors on my palette, let's see if I can remember these. It's been a while since I squeezed them out. I believe this is Hansa Yellow Medium, Hansa Yellow Deep, Alizarin Crimson, Pyrrole Scarlet, French Ultramarine, which is a warmer ultramarine, Manganese Blue, Cobalt Blue, regular ultramarine. I think this is like Moon Shadow or something like that. It's basically like... I think this one's Moon Shadow. I don't think... Yeah, that looks like Moon Shadow. And let's just double check here, because then I have this other one that feel like this one is neutral tint and this is Moon Shadow, which is just a little more bluish purple. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna go with Moon Shadow on that. I'm sticking with it. This is permanent red, neutral tint, olive green, sap green? No, spring green, burnt sienna, burnt umber, yellow ochre, Indian yellow. Yes, I did it. And they're all Daniel Smith extra fine watercolors except for this one, which is Holbein, because they make a permanent alizarin watercolor, alizarin crimson. Not everyone does. And if you do alizarin crimson, I suggest doing permanent alizarin because alizarin is rather fugitive. You don't want that. Sorry, I just want to dry those. They don't need to stay wet. All right. Moving on. Moving on. By the way, anyone that is joining... oh, thank you. I know, I tend to forget, huh? Anyone that is just joining, there's my link tree. It has all the stuffs, all the things. I believe the Discord is down at the bottom. Anyone who wants to join the Discord, we just fired it up today. There you go. So it'll be rather empty, but please, you know, feel free to poke around and post stuff. Don't be afraid to be the first person to post somewhere. It's pretty basic. I've just got a general channel for general discussions. I have a general art talk as well if we want to really get into just general art stuff. We've got the not safe for work art because, you know, I draw naked elves sometimes. So, you know, they have to have their place too. What am I doing here? Brush pen. Let's do some faces. Yay! Awesome! And let me know, because it is like, again, I'm just getting into it. I think you guys have access to the For Everyone channels, right? Like the general fun and the general art talk and the not safe for work and the live stream discussion, which I don't know if we need that, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to just have a thing where we can talk about specifically what's going on in the live stream. You know, which could be, I don't know if we'll use it. Maybe we won't. And I'll probably, you know, do more with it as we go. But anyway, let's draw some stuff. How about that? Hey, we bit that. You're right, Sarah. We learned that from comics. Sweet. Yeah. And then, yeah, check out the link tree as well. There's a bunch of stuff. The shop is up. I have the first couple of shirts, right? One of which I am wearing right now. I don't know if we can... She's a little overexposed, but whatever. Quinn, the shirt of Quinn before I put more magenta on her. And then there are a few prints that are available. I want to get more stuff up there too. I am streaming to multiple places, up on YouTube as well. I'm not doing Facebook because they get a little weird with music. Like, as far as I know, they have not whitelisted any music yet, even if you have streaming rights. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I just didn't really bother with it yet. Right now, I'm just streaming to Twitch and YouTube. So anyway, let's get drawing some stuff. How about that? You know me and my profiles. I love that shit. Those different faces are just fun to play with. Right? It's like something feels loose. I had refilled the ink and I didn't tighten it all the way. Anyone wondering, this is a Kaime Kaime natural hair brush pen. If you like brush pens, you cannot do any better than, let's see if it'll, than the Kaime. They have a little bit longer brush than the pilots tend to, and they go to a much finer point. With the natural hair, you just have a lot more control, I think, over your line weight and your mark making. And as I said, I am a sucker for mark making, so the more that I can do with it, the more fun I have. Ooh, we got some like adventure chase music going on. I don't know why I always put flowers. I think it's partly because my girlfriend really likes to wear a flower in her hair, like on date night. She loves plumerias. So, but who doesn't love plumerias, right? They're a beautiful flower. Okay, we're going with an elf here. I don't know. Hey, Pedro, what's up, man? I don't know if I will. It's not so much that I don't have time to do Inktober. I can. You know what happened was that at a certain point, I just started here. I started doing ink all the time, but then Inktober just was kind of like, well, that's just sort of what I do anyway. So it just seemed kind of, it lost a little bit of its luster for me, but I have to say it was because of Inktober that I really got into drawing with inks. Like, I already liked doing it. Here. I feel like we're losing some of this, aren't we? I already liked doing ink, but Inktober really like kind of got me like full force into it. So I don't know. I don't feel as much of a need. to do it. But I usually end up doing some, but it kind of, I think at a certain point, I'm more interested in sort of pushing some projects forward. And if I can do some ink stuff that fits into those projects, cool. But if not, then poor Inktober will have to take a back seat. Sorry, Jake Parker. But I always encourage people to do it, you know, anyone that's on the fence. Like, if you're not sure, then do it. You know, because it's a good activity, and one of the things that you want to get into, you know, for anyone that wants to be a professional, is you got to get into the habit of drawing every day, you know. Cat eye makeup, because why not? Yes, I am live. No, that's awesome. I'm super glad that you're joining. I don't know how you say Kiabu? Quiabu? Depends on what language it is, or if it's even a language. But yes, currently I am just coming up with it out of my head. Yeah, and you know, with doing stuff like that, you're bound to kind of repeat. Like, I feel like I've drawn a very similar face to this before, but that's okay. Sometimes, like, it's just about the act of doing it, and then as long as you're conscious of it, you can kind of change things, you know, along the way. But also, not everything has to be like brand new, reinventing the wheel, right? But it can be sometimes. I'm trying to think of what I want to do here. And it's also fun to kind of play with different techniques, different marks that you can make with these, right? I mean, as you saw there, but it's like you don't always need to keep everything like super clean either. If you don't want to. It all depends. You do you. Make sure you're happy when you're drawing. Well, that's not always true. Some people do amazing stuff out of sadness, but don't get in the habit. Trying to decide where I want what side I want the shadows on. Because those are good indicators, right? Like for doing some nice kind of heavier marks. Just knowing where the shadows are. It doesn't take much. It's a vegetable. Quiabo. From Brazil. Is there an equivalent vegetable that you know of in the US? I wonder if it's called something different here. Possibly, maybe, I don't know. I would be curious. Having grown up on a vegetable farm up in Northern California back in the day. Some of this I'm also considering if I want to do. I want to do some watercolor on these, so I don't want to always spell out like all the lines, right? I want to kind of leave myself some room to do a little bit of lost and found, perhaps. It's always a good thing. Always a good thing. But we might also make sure to stick with the elf theme, because that's kind of fun. Perhaps. Let's have this. Let's see. Dude, she looks snobby as hell, I gotta say. Like, she made all the rules in high school. And changed them as much as she wanted. Because they were only guidelines anyway. They weren't guidelines when I wore that vest last week. You can't sit with us. Yes, my girlfriend loves Mean Girls. I'm not ashamed to say I have seen it. The movie's kind of awesome. Greetings, Faiza. Wow, we've got... Oh, okra. I love okra. Bindi, as we would say in India. I'm half Indian, so bindi masala is one of my favorite things. Okra is so good. What have I seen recently? I have not seen Umbrella Academy at all, actually. Oh, where's your hometown? Up near Reading or Red Bluff? I used to go hunting with my dad up that way, like way up in NorCal. I grew up in Sonoma County, which is like currently on fire, and it is heartbreaking. I'm very glad they were able to save my dear redwood trees, though, because I would have been sad if 1,500-year-old trees burned. I mean, I'm very sad, obviously, for the homes in the little towns. The other side is structures can be rebuilt. We can't do anything if trees that are... I want to say we've got some up there that are like 2,000 years old. Or close to it. And, you know, you can't get that back. Yeah, I used to... Yeah, luckily where my mom is, they lifted the red flag warning. So they were able to hold off the fire that was closest to where my mom is. So that's good, but all kinds of places around there have not been so lucky. What have I'm trying to think of what I've watched recently. I feel like there was something. Oh my god, I tried to watch Cursed. Holy shit, Netflix is like 98% match. Dude, 6 minutes in, I'm like, I can't. I can't do this. Which, by the way, is about 2 or 3 minutes longer than I got into Shannara. What a piece of shit that was. But I'm trying to... you know, part of what it is, recently I haven't been watching too much new stuff. Because I've just been working so much, so I don't like to put on new stuff if I'm not going to be paying attention. So I was rewatching things. So Cursed was not scary, not even a little. It looks like it's on a cheap-ass soundstage. I don't know if they wanted it to be scary. I don't know if it's supposed to get darker and scarier as it goes, but like I said, I got 6 minutes in and I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I want her to have, I want to do like a big, she looks like she needs a big, fancy collar. Right? Of some kind. By the way, Kiabu, thank you for the follow. Super appreciate it. I am pretty much, I'm going to stick to streaming Monday nights, what do I say, Wednesday nights and Saturday afternoons. Possibly, like there may be some other streams in there too, but those will be kind of last minute decisions based on work and what else I might have to do in the evenings. I can't always guarantee. But big lacy kind of collar. Don't be afraid to scribble. Sometimes Scribbling is your friend. I was gonna do some other stuff in there, but I'm like, nah, maybe I'll leave that for some watercolors. Alright. That's fun stuff. Might switch it up a little and let's do ideas. I think I have ideas. Ooh. You're rooting for the zombies. John, what's up, Mr. Zylstra? How you doing, brother? Glad to see you here. I saw you on the Discord. Woo! We have a Discord server. Kiabu, that's a very good question. Now, some of that I would say would depend on where you are with drawing. But if I were to give like one piece of advice, I honestly would probably say draw in pen. Pen just helps you with your decision making. And you can start simple. You don't have to get into, doing like actual faces or full figures. Like start with doing thumbnails, Yeah, so like if you start with thumbnail sketches, they're really like, they're not daunting. You can doodle stuff in pen like super quick. I mean, we can even do some of that, right? Because why not? It's a sketch page. Let's just mind you, when you do thumbnails, always make a frame, because that frame affects your composition so much, right? It's the only thing with this rack, it has a the lip is really big on it. I kind of wish they did one with a smaller lip. Catches my hand sometimes. So you don't have to do much with a thumb. We can just have our little dude here, right? He's all heroic with his cape. And he's got his sword. And he's like... yo. I'm here to set... Uh-oh. Raid. Autumn's raiding us with a party of 2. Man the defenses, everybody. So this guy's like, all right, I've come to. I heard there was like a monster to fight, and I've come to. And then he's like, oh shit, this thing is like way the hell bigger than I thought it was. I should have brought a bigger sword. You know, so if you're gonna, it's like that thing's teeth are like as big as my sword. Yeah, let's get some dramatic lighting too. Like, damn. Should have brought backup and a bigger sword. Because, sorry, bro, you're just like a little bite-sized morsel for this guy. So yeah, Kiabu, start small. You know, do something that where if you mess it up, it, you know, who cares, right? By the way, Autumn, let's see if that works. No. No. That totally didn't work. Where's Autumn? No, Autumn, I want, and no. Wait, is this gonna work? Did that work? No. I was trying. Oh, there we go. That did work. It just got covered. There. Ha 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 ha. That's what I wanted. Okay. Whew. I didn't want to ban you, dude. I was trying to make you a mod, because I can't always pay attention, so now you have ultimate powers. So complicated. But yeah, no all caps, dude. No one likes that. Yeah, I would just start simple. The nice thing with inks is that, you know, it gets you to start kind of thinking a little more clearly. It forces you to make some clear decisions. And then if you start small, and like I say, if you mess up, who cares? You know, move on to the next one, and then you only wasted like a few minutes. And it's not wasted, it's all learning experience, right? I don't know if this guy, maybe he's got wings. He's got some wings. So this whole composition would just be dragon. And then this poor little dude. Oh, anyway. We can throw some color on that to play around with composition too. I did want to draw a what? I often, when I'm toward the edges of the page. I don't really like to have anyone looking off the page in either direction. So, oh, I love these headphones. They're great. I've had these things for years. I like them because they're very comfortable to wear for a long period of time. I have some nice, I don't know where they are, Sony like noise canceling ones, but I don't like the ones that, even though they're comfortable around my ears, they make, like, I can feel them just trap heat. And I don't like it, especially when it's like 100 degrees outside. It's not fun. Getting heat trapped in my head. So, all right, let's do... think. By the way, I was very, very happy to find out that my neighbor did not, in fact, get a loud-ass Harley Davidson. She just had, I think it was like her dad or someone was visiting from out of town. So thankfully, I do not have to like listen to that indefinitely. Oh, the mustachio. I want more shadows. I want to go a little more dramatic on this. Still gonna stick with the elven theme. These are the P3s, I believe. I think the P5s were the wireless ones, right? These were the P3s. Oh, I'm so glad you can make it. I enjoyed watching your stream earlier today as well, so super glad you could catch one. There will be others, So hopefully you can come on by again. And now you're on the Discord, so you know we'll start posting art and stuff and having a good time. And it'll be rad. Shadows acting the way they should, within reason, of course. Dramatic chase music. I feel like this guy needs some kind of a headdress or something, but maybe not. Could just have smarmy, slicked back hair. He looks like a smarmy kind of elf. Oh, Lightbox. Kiabu, good night. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, Chaotic Neutral. Faiza, I am not doing Lightbox. One, I think I might actually be briefly out of town that weekend. And I will not be exhibiting because I was not accepted back. Don't ask me why. I just know that I showed the first year, had a blast last year, right? It was awesome because it's like 5 minutes away from where I live. And then I applied for this year and they didn't give me a booth. No idea. No idea why. You know, it's interesting. Like, I get if they want to be able to kind of switch it up each year, but I don't know if that's what they're doing. Because so many of the same people are there again this year. So maybe they want people that are more directly tied to, like, I don't want to say the entertainment industry, because I'm like, that's all I do is movie posters and video game covers and TV posters and movie posters. And so I'd say I'm pretty much in the entertainment industry, but maybe they want more people in, like, content creation, perhaps. I don't know. So who knows? Or they just want to have kind of a revolving door of artists, and they don't want it to just be like, you know, San Diego Comic-Con, where once you have a booth, like, that's it, you've got one, and if you don't leave, then no one else has the chance to show, you know? Which in some cases works out well. In other cases, like, there's some people there that really probably shouldn't be there anymore. But at the same time, you can't say that because it's part of their livelihood, so they can do what they need to do. But sometimes I'm just like, dude, your art has not gotten any better from, like, this stuff I see of yours that's 20 years old. So, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe if you're not improving at all as an artist, which usually means you're just not trying, maybe let someone else in who will take this art stuff a little more seriously, you know? Whatever. Whatevs. No, I'm not going to be at Lightbox. I loved the first year, though. I mean, I thought it turned out so great, you know, especially for a first year expo. Like, dude, they crushed it. They really, yeah, there were issues, right? The Riot after party mixer thing was a total joke. It's like in this giant dark room with one bar all the way at the end. It was supposed to be exhibitors only. They were just letting in everybody. Yeah, it was just not good. But, you know, there's bound to be some foibles the first time around. Okay, this dude totally needs a high frilly collar, right? He just looks like he's that kind of dude. He just got one of those high frilly things. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, if you like frills, work for Liberace, right? Whatever makes you happy. And what makes this elf happy is frills and lace. But maybe he's just like an uber badass swordsman or something. I feel like he needs some fancy ear decorations for his fancy ears. Fancy. Dude, I know the feeling. Yeah, I mean, There is a bit of that. I think they are wanting to change things up. I do sort of maybe feel like, there might be a little favoritism in there. And, I look at the general type of work that they're bringing in. I'm like, okay, so maybe not so many naked elves. And whatever, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I wish that there wasn't this like COVID lockdown. I wish it didn't have to all be online because I still would have attended, absolutely. Because I know so many of the artists there, and some of them like I probably wouldn't see until Lightbox, and it'd be great to see them again. So I do wish that it could be held in person, though I think I might end up being in San Diego that weekend. Little weekend getaway, but it may only be that Friday, so we'll see. I'm not as interested in attending the online stuff. I'm not super impressed with that. Of course, now I put this over here, and now I'm like, this is kind of awkward. It worked in my head. Here, let's do this. This is why. I got confused as to which tripod I was on. It's like, wait, how do I put this one down? Get some of these colors off because I need some clean colors. Clean colors. Works. That works. It's cool red. I don't mind that. Really should have gotten a clean paper towel for this. Oh well. Thank you, thank you. Oh yes, so many places I would like to go after COVID. I mean, we had to cancel 2 trips that we had planned this year. We were gonna go to Scotland in June, and we were gonna go to Greece in September. Oh yeah, that would be nice. I miss the Caribbean. I haven't been to Jamaica, but we had gone to Guadeloupe, right in the French West Indies there near Martinique. And we loved it. The food is so good. I mean, I'm half Indian, so of course you get into that like French, Caribbean, Indian food. Oh, the Colombo chicken. Woo. That stuff made me happy. Probably gonna end up losing some of this red, but that's okay. We can bring it back in. So, make sure. But what we really took away from the Caribbean was the rum agricole. Oh, that stuff. Will forever love the French for rum agricole. Makes me quite happy. Do they have a rum that's native to Jamaica? It's like specific to Jamaica? I feel like they do. I feel like it's a molasses rum, maybe. So yeah, we were gonna go to Scotland in June. We were gonna go to Greece in September. So of course those two trips got canceled. And we're very sad about that. Girlfriend has been frantically researching other places so that, not frantically, but very diligently, so that whenever we can travel again, we're gonna be ready. I mean, we still want to go to both those places, so, you know, obviously we might still, those may still be the next places we go, but so many things on the list, and it might just depend on if we're in the mood for, you know, temperate, or if we're like, no, we just want to go somewhere tropical and chill and swim. We had gone to Tahiti last year and absolutely loved it. Though we both agree the food in the Caribbean was, well, okay. I don't know if the food in the Caribbean was better per se, but we both like spicy food, and they didn't have spicy food in Tahiti. So we're like, okay, next time if we come back to Tahiti, we're like bringing bottles of hot sauce with us. Because the food was really good, we just missed the spice, right? I can't remember. I've seen Appleton Estate rum. I don't know if I've had it though. I'll have to check it out. I'm not a huge fan of the molasses-based rum. I prefer the rum that's distilled from sugarcane, because it just is much less of a hangover. But I feel like Jamaica would certainly have some version of that, and maybe the Appleton Estate rum is that. You know, kind of like the cachaça in Brazil, or rum agricole in the French West Indies. Although not just there anymore. The French brought some rum distillers, like master distillers, over to Tahiti as well to start doing rum agricole there as well. Tastes very different. I'm surprised how different it tastes. But still super good. Super good. That's good. I'm just mixing up a darker kind of hair color, but I'm not entirely sure what I want. But man, was I so excited when I discovered this waterproof fountain pen ink. Like, it's like, wait, what? You mean I can actually use a fountain pen and a brush pen to do inks that I can watercolor on? Yes. It's a platinum carbon ink for anyone who's wondering. The company is platinum, and it is specifically their carbon ink. Let's look at this stuff. This stuff. Platinum carbon ink. Waterproof. Fountain pen safe. It has beautiful flow to it. Highly recommend it. Still kind of have my cyberpunk sort of soundtrack thing going, but oh well. I didn't really set up like a good fantasy soundtrack, but that's cool. I can dig the mix. Right? Can mix it up a little bit. Get some bit of a so this looks the cobalt blue. One of the nice things, so this is the Etcher hot press watercolor sketchbook. Really, really beautifully made sketchbook. The paper is just a little rougher than a lot of the hot press paper that I use, but it's still great. And one of the things I love is it really it holds moisture really well, which is just awesome. I feel like that's always kind of a good thing when you can get a watercolor paper that allows you sufficient time to kind of work back into things, without having to rush too much. My experience with like Arch's watercolor paper is I always feel like I have to rush it a lot more than I want. So I like papers that allow me a little bit of time. Saunders Waterford paper is my favorite by a pretty wide margin, but they don't make a sketchbook. But I am going to make a sketchbook out of it, and it will be awesome. I am a fan of craft beers, though I'm not a big fan of dark beers anymore. I used to be, but I prefer the lighter ones: lagers, pilsners, whites. I'll go to an amber ale once in a while. I just don't like the molasses taste of the dark beers. But I am sipping something that you can't even see because it's like totally blown out. There. Einstock. Icelandic white ale brewed with coriander and orange peel, and it's delicious. I love Allagash as well. Allagash, like the Allagash White, Allagash Tripel, their what is it, Barrel and Bean, right? And then the Curio, the Allagash Curio, which is like aged in bourbon barrels, so it's like 10% ABV or something, but it's delicious. Hey, Rex the Unbroken, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Just wanted to let her dry just a little. Right, I didn't want to overwork too much. I wanted to be able to just come in with some sometimes that warmth in the cheeks is actually warmer than I think, right? I mean, it's a different sort of look if you do a really cool red versus a really warmer red with it. Raid! Russell Stewart, raid of 23. Damn, thank you. It's awesome. Wait, why is Nightbot going crazy and timing people out? I don't want you to time anyone out. I'm sorry. Nightbot is being kind of a dick. Don't time anyone out, Nightbot. Tell you what, we're gonna time out Nightbot. No, that takes the fun out of raids, right? It's cool, I timed out Nightbot. I'm gonna have to adjust that. I didn't... Nightbot. Overzealous. Freaked out. Thought you guys were coming to pillage and burn. Russell Stewart, thank you so much for the raid. What were you doing on your stream? Please feel free to share links or something. I'm just thinking about skin tone for snooty girl here. And Russell, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Let's see how that. Do a really lighter anyway. Ooh, hey, Snoke. Thanks for the host. The camera I'm using for the art actually is my iPhone. So this guy, Jacob, what did we say his name was? Jacob Cavan, I think, developed a little app called Shutter. Wow. Shutter Capture, I think. It's like 99 cents on the App Store. You literally put it on your phone and you can just use your phone as a webcam. And, you know, depending on which iPhone you have, it can actually end up being very high resolution. And amazingly enough, it is kind of the best one I've found so far for art. It's super awesome. Super easy, and yeah, you know, other people that have apps that do something similar want like $15 for their app, and then you also have to do a plugin into OBS, and it sucks because I did that with 2 different apps and OBS wouldn't open with those plugins. I was like, huh. And so I had to figure out like where the hell the plugin installed, delete the plugins, and then OBS would open. This one doesn't do anything with OBS. You just put the app on your phone, and I mean, the easiest thing in the world. So, Jacob Cavan, awesome kid, and he made something great. He made it originally for himself, and then he was like, you know what? I'm gonna put this up on the App Store. And he made it because exactly what I was talking about. He was looking at these others that were like $15, and he was like, come on, it should be the easiest thing. Yeah, I was actually afraid because this doesn't have an autofocus lock, so I was afraid that it would be weird, but it seems to do really well. Like, it doesn't shoot over to my hand, you know, like the other ones I had in the past kept wanting to just like focus on my hand. I'm like, no, I don't want you to focus on my hand. I want you to focus on the art. And of course they didn't have the AF lock, right? So, but I like it because then I can also do stuff like, I'm like, oh, hey, here's the waterproof ink I'm using, you know? And it easily focuses, it's quick, platinum carbon ink for anyone that wants to know. And then it refocuses back super fast. So, yeah, I mean, I can't recommend it enough. Shutter Capture, 99 cents. Worth it. Because then I have my, you know, nice ass Fuji as a camera on me. Thus it has a nice depth of field and all that stuff. But I wanted something that was a little easier to kind of sort of use in a versatile way for the art. The Fuji would be nice, but I can't change the focus. Like, the way that it plugs into OBS, whatever settings I turn it on with is what it has. So I can't, like, change the ISO or the ASA or anything while it's being used as a webcam. It just won't register the changes. So I'm like, well, okay, that it's just kind of annoying, and I can't change the focus either, which is kind of weird. But you know, I'm glad that Fuji made the webcam utility along with many of the other camera companies, because everyone was price gouging so bad on webcams, right, with the lockdown, that the camera companies are just like, you know what, guys, screw it. Here's a nice webcam utility, and turns your $1,300 Fuji into a webcam. I'm okay with that. I'm trying to think. I want her to have, I think I want some like eyeshadow on her. Give her some like bluish. You know what though? I've seen people do streams where they don't talk. And you know, they just call it out. They just say no mic or something like that, and you can just have music going. And you know, sometimes people just put it on and just chill, and they'll do their own thing, and they'll kind of pay attention to the stream. I kind of expect that's what some people are doing even with this, you know? I don't expect people to be watching like every step of the way. And there are times that I kind of like get caught up in what I'm doing, and I'm like, and I look, and the whole chat has gone by. I'm like, wait, what? What did I miss? Feza, thank you so much for joining, and thanks for the questions earlier on. Always great. I love it when people ask questions. Anyone, feel free, ask questions, please. Please. Gives us shit to talk about. Do warmer hair on her. But like, yeah. We'll at least start with this. No FF. Thank you for the follow. Wait, is that like no Final Fantasy? Are you against Final Fantasy, or are you just sad that you have no Final Fantasy right now? Or does it have nothing to do with Final Fantasy? I only ask because I always play the Final Fantasy music. Well, from Final Fantasy VI, anyway. The best Final Fantasy. Lost Edge stuff going. Why not? Why not? Oh, I see. I have never played League of Legends. Did a bunch of comics for them though back some years back when they were doing the online comics. I don't know if they still do those or not. Do they still do those in the forums? I guess like it started out as just kind of a pet project with the creative director at the time, and one of the art directors, and I knew them from working with them previous, well, at least the creative director. He's not there anymore, but I had worked with him at a previous company, so they brought me on to do these comics. Super fun because it was me, him, and the art director, and it's like pretty much everything I did. The art director was like, "Cool, looks great, looks great." And I won't lie, they were paying me way the fuck too much to do those things. Because they asked me, like, how much would I charge to do a full color page? And so I treated it like I would, because they wanted, they wanted it a bit more rendered, and then I actually wanted to go beyond the examples that they showed me. I was like, no, dude. No, come on. We can do better. And so I basically charged them what I would charge for a full color illustration, right? A whole page comic that's all rendered, equivalent to an illustration. And so I basically charged them what a week of an illustration would take. When they asked me how much I would charge for it, I was like, I think I'd said $3,000 or something like that. And they're like, okay. It's like, really? And seriously, each page only ended up being like a day and a half to 2 days of work. So like they were paying me way too much for those things. But whatever, I'm not complaining. It was fun. But then the comics started getting really popular. And then, of course, marketing gets involved and just fucked up the whole thing. Like, all of a sudden, I was having to answer to like 6 to 8 people at one time. And no one had the same ideas. And then they wanted to make the comics longer. So, of course, they're like, can you drop your page rate? Which was reasonable. They wanted like an 8-page comic. So, yeah, it made sense. Like, yes, we can drop the page rate. I don't remember what we dropped it to, but it was still more than the comic industry pays. So, that's fine. But then it just wasn't fun anymore. Let's see, I did, when they introduced Leona, I did her comic. When they introduced Volibear, I did his comic. I did... It was all right around that time. There was some, like, underwater dude. I don't remember his name. He's, like, this big, clunky, like, old-school scuba suit-looking thing. Yeah, I did some other girl that's, like, has this cool, like, saber, like, hip flock of seagulls hair. I don't remember her name. I don't remember most of their names because I didn't play. Yes, Nautilus. And I don't. Amanda Conda 42. Thank you for the follow. Proper artist. Thank you for the follow. Oh, right on. That's awesome. His comic was fun. That was one of the longer ones. I think that was one of the first ones where they wanted to go longer with it. And it would, I mean, whatever. It was fun. And hey, it paid the bills when I needed it. So, thank you to Riot. I mean, I did enough comics for them that I'm pretty sure it in total it was like, it ended up being somewhere around maybe like $30,000 worth of comic work. It's pretty rad. But then it also was getting to the point where they wanted me to come in and work on them. I'm like, why? I've been doing them this whole time from home, and like that doesn't make sense. And going in and working on them meant, from where I live, commuting out to Santa Monica, that all of a sudden meant 3 hours of driving in the day. I was like, no, I'd rather put 3 hours more into the artwork and not sit in my car wasting time. So little by little, it was just kind of like, yeah, this isn't fun anymore. I'm done. Looking back, I probably should have stuck with it because it was kind of like in the middle of the recession, and like, when was that? When was I doing those? So that must have been 2011 and 2012. So I probably could have stood to get off my high horse a little bit. But I really like driving 3 hours in the day was just so not appealing to me. So I was just like, no. Sorry. Okay, bye. No time. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. That's good. I'm having fun. Yeah, especially because, like, when you have to drive in traffic for that long, you kind of get to your destination, like, you're kind of tired or you're kind of pissed off because LA traffic, like, drivers are lame. And so it just, I don't know, it just wasn't fun. By the way, for anyone, links. Yes, I let Nightbot back in. Nightbot, don't be a dick or I'll ban you again. Bunch of links. I just got the Discord going today, so anyone who wants to jump on the Discord, please feel free. We can share art, we can discuss art, we can talk about not art, whatever. We've got all the other social links on there, whichever ones people actually care about. Some people care about all of them, some people don't. I believe the pre-order site for the book is there too. Anyone that missed the Kickstarter, we're looking at 366 pages, hardcover. This thing's gonna be a beast. Good for coffee table display and home defense. Just FYI. Anyone breaks in, just throw Dea at them. Which, ironically, the title of my book means compassion, so it would be kind of funny if you used it for home defense. I would condone it. The Kickstarter was a success, which is awesome. And Corette does ship anywhere in the world, just FYI. And as far as I know, they have pretty reasonable shipping rates too. I want some heat. I want some... What do I want? I feel like I might keep her lace white, maybe. Maybe off-white. How about that? Do off-white. Very, very subtle. Very subtle. Raid! By the dark cloak! Now, Nightbot, don't be a dick, or I'll ban you again. You know Nightbot's gonna be a dick. Okay, Nightbot. We're timing you out again, my friend. Sorry. Raid! Sorry, my Nightbot is overzealous. I have to adjust the settings. Thanks for the raid! Nightbot kept, like, deleting the spam. Hey, the Mandy. How is everyone? How's everyone's Monday night or possibly Tuesday morning, depending on where you are? And thank you. I'm just kind of chipping away at these colors. I totally forgot her bling. Let's I don't want to overdo that though. Thank you for the follow, Reaver Redcap, and Tedious Tendencies, and the Dark Cloak. Thank you for the follows. Oh yeah, that's probably what. Oh, right on. Very cool. I love pixel art. Well, I'm gonna have to check your stuff out. That sounds awesome. If I can, I'm gonna give you a. Can I not? I wanna follow you. All right, we're gonna look. We're gonna look at yo stuff. Pixel art's rad, by the way. I don't know if Autumn is still in here, but he occasionally does some awesome pixel art. Oh, your stuff is cool. That looks like fun. Pixel art's not like my forte at all. Awesome pixel art. But I love it when other people do it. Lurk away. What was I mixing for? Oh, her, her bling, which I don't actually want it to be gold, so I wanted to go with a little bit more of a earthy kind of a, I don't know, brass or something. And also her eyes. Let's do her eyes. Yeah. Who doesn't love those dark-haired, green-eyed gals? Yeah, normally it's okay. It's hard though with watercolor, right? Because you can't actually see the color on the brush unless you have a lot of it on. With oils, it's a little easier because the color's generally opaque. But with watercolor, it's like maybe not. Are other people drawing and stuff tonight? You guys working on stuff? What are you working on? Anything fun? I'm having fun not doing work art. Although work art is fun too. I'm working on fun stuff at work, so I can't complain about that. Keep getting this one little bit of paint right where I don't want it naturally. Oh, right on. Oh, cool. Hey, thanks, NoFF. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, photos of a painting, like a traditional painting, that's not easy. Oh, right on. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably wind down fairly soon too, but not quite yet. For that thumbnail, I kind of actually just want to do monochrome, like inky ink tones. So let's just do this really quick and figure out a kind of a fun composition. This was just me demonstrating earlier when someone asked if I had one piece of advice for someone to get better at drawing, what would it be? And I said to draw more with pen, and to make it less daunting, just start doing thumbnails so that, you know, it doesn't matter if you screw one up. It's only a few minutes out of your day, and hopefully you learn something from it, so it's not a waste of time. So I was just demonstrating how simple it can be to do that. Because really, like, there is not one piece of advice, like a single piece of advice that's going to completely change the way that somebody draws or anything like that, right? Not really. So anyway, just this poor warrior thought he was going to battle a much smaller beast, and all he brought was that tiny little sword. Them's the breaks. Do your research. Ask around at the local tavern. Maybe get a scale reference. When you saw this creature in the forest, how much bigger than the trees was it? Alas, our poor little hero did not think to ask the crucial questions. And he was never heard from again. Oh well. Good evening, Inkwell. Ooh, 3D modeling. Haven't done that in a long time. Oh. I do work in oils, actually. In fact, here, let's. I have an unfinished oil. 1 second. There's a. So I still need to finish this guy. It's mostly just underpainting right now, so I still need to bring a bit more colors in here. It's pretty much all just like burnt umber and white, I think. So I'll finish it at some point. My happy little dwarf. He's stoked on his ale. I think he probably brewed it himself, and he's just like, damn, that ale turned out really good. And he's into it. But yeah, I'd like to get back to some oils, even on the stream. I think it'd be a lot of fun now that I know that this camera can actually pick it up. Which mediums do I use? I mean, all of them. I'm not a fan of acrylics, though, I'll be honest. Whenever I use acrylics, I feel like I should either use watercolor or I should use oils. And I prefer all of those to acrylic. I just don't like acrylics colors. They just don't feel, I don't know, they're lacking something for me. But I mean, watercolor here. I love gouache as well, for certain things, depending on like what kind of look I want. You know, I do love gouache, and I mean, I might bring a little bit of gouache into these, just because gouache gives me such nice like watermarks, right? And that you can't get with just watercolor necessarily. I mean, you can, but not as easily as you can if you throw a little bit of gouache in it. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'll use Gamsol, but then I'll also use some walnut oil for certain things, depending on if I want it, to dry, to take longer to dry or not. So it kind of depends on. Mostly, like, if I know that I'm not going to be able to get back to it for a little bit, then sometimes that's when I'll use some walnut oil, just so that maybe it'll stay wet longer. Or maybe I don't want it to stay wet longer, and then no walnut oil. But yeah, mostly Gamsol. Crazy chickies, thanks for the follow. That beard was epic, right? Dwarves, I just feel like dwarves need to have a good beard. Dwarves without beards are weird. is where I like to get a little impressionistic with the color. Alright, let's paint up our dude. Actually, before I do that, I'm just really wanting this guy to be red. I don't know why, I've just been looking at him all evening and I just really want him to be red. So now he's red. And I am happy. And this dude just looks blonde. Although not his facial hair, obviously. Dude, does he bleach his hair or does he dye his facial hair? I don't know. I don't know. We'll throw a little darker color in there too. What would they bleach their hair with back in the day? Like lemon juice or something, maybe? Oh yeah, yeah. That's tough. You know, you might try though, if you haven't already tried walnut oil, because you can also use walnut oil to clean your brushes. So you can use it. It can completely replace Gamsol and stuff. Like Hollis Dunlap only uses walnut oil. He uses it as a medium and a cleaner. And it's food grade, so you don't have to worry about the fumes. The only fumes would come from the actual paints, but at least it would be less than if you use other mediums. The other thing you can look into, depending on the types of paints you use, Utrecht put out those cadmium-free paints, but they're supposed to be like equivalent to cadmiums, but it's like a cadmium-free yellow and red and all these others. I don't like the colors quite as much as a cadmium, but they're supposed to be just as archival, but they're cadmium-free, so you know, that's a possibility if ventilation is an issue. Otherwise, what I used to do, you know, when I lived in a place that where I didn't have a lot of options, I guess, I would just get a space heater and keep it near me. I'd still have the windows open. It'd be fucking cold. Probably not as cold as you. Yeah, you're in Chicago. Or you were in Chicago? Where are you now? If you're still out that way, then yeah, your winters are much worse than mine. So I can't say like, oh, just open the window and have a space heater, because if it's like 20 below, then that might not help so much. I live in Los Angeles, and you know, cold here is 40 degrees. What? I don't know why. I want this guy to have like hair that's lighter than his skin. I don't know why. He just seems like that's his jam. Nice walnut. Beautiful walnut skin. Oh my God, John! When you said you were in Chicago, I totally didn't even realize it was you. Like, yeah, I know where you are. Now you could paint in oils, right? Now you're in a nice warm winter. That's right. I remember you showed me some of your oils, dude, and they look dope. I think I was looking at the questions and not at the handles. Yeah, I don't know anything about hockey. California, born and raised. I played basketball. Give him some color in his cheeks. And maybe a bit for his nose. Let's give him that icy. Kind of want to get one of the things I love in skin tones often is actually how much green you'll get in them. Like often more than we might think. Especially in the darker skin tones. Which is something sometimes they don't feel quite right until we get a little bit of green in some of those areas. Yes, it has been insanely hot. Insanely hot. Hang on. Let's see here. If you guys don't follow Mr. John Zylstra already on Instagram, you damn well should, because he's a badass. Give him a follow. If you guys know the Athena 1 comics, then you know John's work. If you don't know them, you should. And now you do. Dude, this guy is just like gonna not give a fuck. He's just like, I'm rocking the pink frilly collar. I don't even care. In my mind, this dude is just like a badass with a saber, so he doesn't care. He's like really flamboyant and can like cut anybody. He could be a pirate elf, huh? Pirates were pretty flamboyant. Though out of necessity, which is very interesting, right? Like you would think maybe something like Black Sails, like maybe overdid it, you know, with them kind of looking like rock stars with all these rings and earrings and shit. But the reality was, pirates actually did wear a lot of that stuff because they didn't trust anyone on the ship. So when they went on to land, they couldn't. Oh, bedtime reminder. They couldn't leave all their valuables on the ship because someone would steal them because they're all pirates, right? And that's what they do. So they would actually, when they went on the land, they would wear everything of value on their person. And it was also how they would pay for things. So it's like, oh, hey, cool, I need this new coat or something. Here's this ring that's worth the same or whatever. So it's actually kind of interesting to look into that stuff. And yeah, that's Jay-Z, Mr. John Zylstra. He's a badass. So everyone should give Mr. Zylstra a follow. But then the thing that was not so cool and was kind of gross is that they had really long shirts, right? Like their white billowy shirts were really long because they would wrap them around their groin as underwear. Because it was just more comfortable to wear fewer layers. But then that's just kind of gross because then your underwear is also your shirt and no thanks. No thanks. Alright, we're going cobalt. Cobalt. This dude's just rocking the colors. Let's forget though that cobalt just wants to like melt in the water. But that's pretty fucking cool. Needs a little more. That's gonna be intense. Maybe not. That's pretty good. A little more color. Some of those half tones there. Push some of that saturation a little, right? That's what halftones are good for. This is a good example or a passing example of it's actually Harvey Dunn's observation of Howard Pyle, right? Because Howard Pyle apparently struggled with color, right? His main thing was value and drawing. But Howard Pyle did make an observation that shadows carry the drawing and the lights carry the color. And this is a pretty good example of kind of how that works, right? Actually want to get a little bit of darker stuff just right here. But it's interesting because you don't look at Howard Pyle's work and think, dude, that guy struggled with color. But then when you really think about it, you're like, oh yeah, he really didn't he didn't lean into color. He leaned into his value design and his drawing, mostly. So this is that neutral tint. Almost works as like a gray multiply layer. Daniel Smith makes it, and it's pretty rad stuff. I have to say, I don't use it a lot, but for some reason I always keep it on my palette just in case, because I'm like, when I want to use it, it's there. Word. All right, well, what did we do? We did that. We did these quickies here. It's fun. Not bad. Always love getting back to watercolors. Even just doing little sketches. It's just so good for that. I have a blast with it. Can get in a little closer on them. Maybe. So, fun stuff. Yeah, Mead Schaefer. I have a great Mead Schaefer book that Illustrated Press just put out. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it for tonight. Is there anyone worth rating? That's such a terrible way to say it. Anyone worth rating? I don't know if anyone I follow is on right now. I mean, Dave Greco is, but he's playing Monster Hunter, and no, I don't want to hear myself. I know what I sound like. Anyone else have an awesome art channel that we can raid? If so, please let me know. I feel like I've looked at a couple of these, but I don't remember what their art is. Hey John, thanks dude. So glad you could join. I will see you on the Discord. And all that good stuff. Yeah, I was like really ready to do sci-fi stuff today, and then I was kind of like, no, let's not do that. Let's do this other stuff for whatever reason. I don't know what she's doing, but it's cool. Study night. Meg Animation. Are you guys familiar with her? She's got like 103 people watching right now, so that's cool. She's doing some cool stuff. Alright. I got no one to raid, so I think we're gonna... Is she awesome? Should we raid her? She looks cool. Let's see if she will come up. Yes. Yas. Alright, are you guys ready? We're gonna raid her. We'll raid Meg Animation. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining. Until next time, Wednesday, have a good one. Is it gonna start the raid? Yes, raid. Now! Raid! Raid!
Had the drawings, or excuse me, the life drawing reference on it. Daniel Landerman, welcome. Thank you for that raid. Hello, who is this? Y'all, can we get some hype in the chat? Welcome, friends. I do not believe we've met. How are you, Daniel? Tell us about your stream. And to anybody new, welcome. My name is Megan. I'm a character and prop designer in the animation industry. Beneath me, right here, is work we've done on the stream before. And tonight, we just finished up a group gesture drawing night where we focused on drawing hands. And we drew approximately 10,000 or maybe like 100. I don't know. We drew a lot of hands. How y'all doing? How was your stream, Daniel? If you guys have any questions for me, please feel free to ask. You can check out more of my work at Meg Animation on Twitter and Instagram. And Daniel, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your stream. What were you streaming? These are just a few of the favorites that we picked from earlier today. And these were all about 2 to 5 minutes each. They were timed gesture drawings. Hey Steve, how are you? Nice to see you. How have you been? Hey AKG. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of hands. We've been drawing hands for about 2.5 hours. The Cake in the Art channel? Palanquin, I can't wait to check it out after the stream. I told Daniel you were the most interesting person in the world. No pressure. My reputation's on the line here. I'll try. I have a cute cat. You can hear him in the background right now. That's interesting. Hey Chaotic, how are you? How are people doing studies in... Are there studies in color? I haven't even looked at the Discord yet. Actually, speaking of interesting, y'all just came at the best time of the stream. This is the time we get to look at everybody else's art and not just mine. I can't draw hands for that long. They were set to a timer, so they randomized to a new image every 2 to 5 minutes. Reaver Redcap, welcome. Thanks for the follow. How are you doing? Okay. Speaking of handses. 1 second. Are you all ready? Are you guys heckin' ready to look at some amazing art from our community members in the chat? Let me know. Also, Daniel, I'm new to your stream. It looked awesome. It was good. We were doing some inks and watercolors. Daniel, if you'd like to share your Instagram or anything you're working on, please let us know. If you're sharing like a Discord link or something, please just tell us first so our mods can give you a permit. Lacadio Lado, welcome. Thanks for the follow. And Chaotic Neutral Shook, thanks for the follow as well. I appreciate that. Chaotic Neutral, I like your screen name. Sorry, I was really thirsty. Get some water. I'm aware that my canteen is very loud because it has ice cubes in it. Hey Ricky Charms, how have you been? Nice to see you. Hey Reaver. Ahoy, random cure? Blue-haired artist that I'm raising, that I'm rating. I am Cure. Thank you. I'm ready. Hey, Scoots, how you been? Ooh, thanks for sharing your Insta, Daniel. Let me check it out. What the? Holy dick. Dang. Sorry, I said a swear. You have a lot of followers. Holy crap. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Oh, why is this so small? Also, this is beautiful. I love this. Oh my god. Daniel, your work is amazing. I'm gonna smash that follow button. Hot diggity dang. Whoa, this is so cool. I love your painting. Ooh. Aw. Does this have sound? Oh, is that kind of loud? Okay, sorry. These are so cool! Hecking wow, you guys. Please go check this out on Instagram. Give them a follow. Damn, man, I'm gonna check out your stream, too. Thank you for rating. I definitely want to watch you paint sometime. It's very, very cool. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Claps. Oh man, he's cool. Yeah. Thank you so much and welcome. Yeah, as I said, we just finished our community study night, so we're actually going to spend the rest of the stream this evening looking at the work of everyone in our community. And then normally on stream, I do a lot of like, kind of shift between more cartoony work and more rendered work. This is like some of the type of stuff we've been doing recently. Well, you can see some of it below me right here in the reel. I don't know how to say your screen name. Welcome, thanks for the follow, LP. Let me know what I should call you. I'm trying to find like an example of recent work. What have I been doing lately? I've been working on this piece like forever, and I'm still not finished. This one. I haven't had time to work on it like in weeks. I'm sorry, you guys. It's just been in the same state for 2 weeks. Our monkey's in a jungle crashed plane thing. Having fun with it, slowly but surely. Finished this recently. Yeah, this one turned out pretty good. I like it. Kind of like a spoopy, like cartoony, like a VizDev type of vibe. And then from this piece, I've been working on some like characters to go along with our main character. I need to clean these ones up for family members. And then some poses. I had a lot of fun drawing these. That's what we've been up to. Little Mac B, welcome. Thanks for the follow. You're making me want macaroni. Little Mac. Thank you, Donatello. Also, welcome back, Donatello. And thank you, Shrill Llama. Thank you, Scoots. I really appreciate that. I was trying to get some fun character designs with those. Anyway, community time. Mac and cheese is ironically my favorite food. I mean, it's a pretty solid food. You can't go wrong. It's the food of the people. Zappa Art, welcome. Thanks for the follow. How are you doing this evening? Dabs in the chat. Community time. First person for community night. Heb123, welcome. Thanks for the follow. Is going to be Toradora. Toradora coming at us with some traditional hand studies. Can we get some hype for traditional work in the stream? Beautiful gestures, Tora. I really like them. I love how you're drawing through the shapes and the